This is the Wilgamat III, and this is actually the third one I've modified since 2005. It's a drum machine with the option of auto accompaniment. This was built by Elka in 1982, and this is the third version of the Wilgamat. And this one has been heavily modified. The thing about these, they have an interface for a keyboard, and the keyboard is how you play the bass lines, arpeggios, all the auto accompaniment, but they're often missing. So originally they had a proprietary connector for keyboards. So what I did is I replaced that with a SCSI connector, and then this is a 50-pin SCSI cable that goes to this custom keyboard that I built. The keys come from an old Yamaha PSR from the mid-80s, and I rerouted the switching. So basically each one of these notes goes to ground, which then activates the bass line or whatever you have playing on here. I also have all the individual breakout sounds are activated, turned on and off from here. The audio doesn't actually route through the keyboard. It just sends control signals to a switching circuit that's inside the Wilgamat. And then those extra signals come out of a DB25, and the DB25 goes to a 1/4 inch breakout that has all 7 of the sounds. I added the fill, minor, 7th, and those are originally things available on the remote foot pedal. Another thing that I added, which wasn't part of the original design, is roll. I also did Unipulse, the Tubatech Unipulse from Germany. So I installed that, so it has MIDI in where you can sync it up to an external clock. I repurposed this switch, which was the amount of divisions that you could have for the clock out, which just puts out a square wave. This is actually now being utilized as internal and MIDI clock. So whether you use the internal clock, which is actually a 555 originally. So I bypassed the 555, and then you can put that on MIDI if you want to sync it up with Ableton or whatever you want to use. Interestingly, the clock out puts out a square wave. So if you're running this with MIDI, it actually puts out a square wave synced up to the MIDI signal. I'll give a little demonstration here. So this is the Rock and Boogie preset. Right now I'm sending the synth sound 4 octaves through a delay pedal. So like the other Wilgamats that I've modified before, all these breakout sounds are basically the fader signal of these individual sounds that are broken out. And this switches on and off the sounds by sending, if I turn on piano, for example, it will send a high signal through the SCSI cable that goes to the 4066 to tell that signal to pass. And all of those outputs come out of the DB25, and then you can patch them however you want. You can run them through pedals, do whatever. They don't affect the general output on the Wilgamat. So those two are completely independent.